Respect your elders.
And how's it going, folks? Starting off with some little Stephen A. Smith, little funny video. Welcome to Off the Dome Sports. My name is Sean Melatello. I'm with my homie Nick, and we're here to talk about the Super Bowl. We're going to talk about some Saints tonight, and we're going to talk about some Pelicans talk. It's going to get real spicy. So y'all stay tuned in. Hit the like button, share, give us a share for us, and keep commenting. So Nick, the Super Bowl was yesterday. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I would say Tampa Bay, I guess. You know, I fucking hate Tom Brady. I'm tired of him, Nick. I'm tired of him. You know, what do you think about the? What's your thoughts on the Super Bowl yesterday? Because it was kind of weird, wasn't it? Just weird, you know?
Water down the wrong
You
pipe.
alright?
Whoa. Make sure you clip this. Oh, man. All right, we're good. Sorry. What a way to kick off the show.
Choking like a
man,
saint.
you know, we've seen, how many times have we seen the Chiefs come out of the gate slow, and we're kind of waiting like, okay, when are they going to turn this on? When are they going to kind of kick things into gear? And they'll be down double digits, and then they'll just come back and win by double digits. It never matters, right? They always seem to turn it on when they need to. But this really felt different. Like when they got down, kind of at halftime, right?
Yeah.
You kind of felt like, oh, I don't think they're going to crawl out of this one, man.
Oh, they got absolutely beat down. Like the Chiefs were ass. They were awful, bro.
You could just feel like it didn't have that same like, I'm not worried. They're gonna figure this thing out. Like, oh, they're actually getting their teeth kicked in right now. Like this is concerning. And listen, as much as I obviously dislike seeing a division rival win the Super Bowl, right? It doesn't pain me as much as others. I will say that. As much as I hate seeing that, if there's one thing that I can't stand in football in general, but certainly I can't stand about the Saints, and as Saints fans, we know they always fucking do this. Like, when's the last time they scored a touchdown on the opening drive, the Saints? Right?
Dude.
And the Chiefs and just teams in general, it drives me nuts when they come out of the gate slow. So as much as I hated to see the Buccaneers win the Super Bowl, I did take joy in seeing the Chiefs kind of being exposed for being slow starters, I guess, if that makes sense. I mean, it's just something that I just can't stand to see. And I guess I like the fact that the Chiefs weren't bailed out this time, you know?
Yeah, man. I think they got absolutely dominated. Like
they did.
Todd Bowles,
the
man.
And before I forget, there's one thing that I think all of us as football fans need to readjust our way of thinking about things when we talk about and kind of break down a game. We always say, but they have Patrick Mahomes, so that doesn't matter. No, look, man, when you're down two starters on the offensive line like that, and you're going against elite pass rushers like the Buccaneers have, like that shit matters. And I mean, they were absolutely dominated the line of scrimmage. I haven't seen, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of like 2007 with the Giants and the Patriots, and the way that the Giants were just able to win all day against Tom Brady at the line of scrimmage. And it really reminded me of that. And that was a big deal. Like we always kind of think, well, they have Kelsey and they have Tyreek Hill and they have Mahomes. It doesn't matter that they're down their starting tackles. No, it fucking matters. It really does matter.
Right.
It's a big deal.
And then Pauline Prince off of Twitter agrees with you. He says, solid point to you, Nick. But, the Chiefs did not come out to play. They got absolutely out game plan, out coached. outplay just plain and simple, you know.
And you're right. Even being down those linemen, the game plan was terrible. Mahomes, dude. Okay, I understand that you're down those linemen. You can't tell me that Patrick Mahomes doesn't hold on to the ball way too fucking long, dude.
You see some of the throws he pulled off though? Like those are some crazy throws. But still, they're crazy.
But look, if there's never been a more bigger criticism in my book to Aaron Rodgers than that dude will take a sack to avoid even throwing it away. Forget throwing an interception. Like that dude will just eat a sack. And Patrick Mahomes kind of does. He like waits to the very last second that he can throw that bitch away.
Right.
Sometimes, man, you just gotta. It felt like being down those two tackles, right? You're not going to have time to take shots down the field like you're used to having. You're not going to have 4 or 5 seconds for a 5-7 step drop back.
Well, they didn't run the ball enough.
What's that?
They didn't run the ball enough.
What? No, and you know how I feel about running football.
Yeah, I mean, they played it simple. I mean, they pretty much passed it on every down. You know,
the game plan was bad. Knowing that you're going to be down those linemen, they did not adjust their offensive game plan to.
No, they didn't. And coming into the game, you know, there was a bunch of distractions. Patrick Mahomes was worried about his MVP or whatever, and then you had Andy Reid's son.
I was just gonna say, you want to talk about distractions?
I think that threw off a lot of focus.
Look, I'm a dad, and obviously my kids aren't old enough to have done what Andy Reid's son is, not just accused of doing, but it did. But I can tell you that and
his son's on the coaching staff.
Dude, there's no way that I would have been able to focus on that. There's no way. There's no way I would have been able to do my job at the required level to be successful in that game. There's no way I would have been able to do it. I can tell you that right now.
No, I think that was a huge distraction, and I think that you seen why they looked so bad because I don't think Andy Reid was in it at all, you know, and this is his son's he was on the coaching staff, I believe, right? So that's even more of a distraction. It's another thing. It's another thing that's just his son. He doesn't work with the Chiefs, but he actually works for the Chiefs. He's on the coaching staff. You know,
he was on the coaching staff with multiple prior DUIs too. Like that's a whole nother conversation that we.
Wow.
It's bad. It's a it's one of the worst looks I've ever seen in my life. It's a terrible look. It's a terrible situation. Obviously, I don't blame Andy Reid, you know, because look, his son's a grown man now. He's his own man. There's, you know, you can only you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make him drink it. You know, I'm sure we've all heard that analogy before. And that kind of applies here.
Now, don't make me sound crazy. Do you think like this is a chance where like Andy Reid might step away because of this? What just happened, or
no? I don't think. Well, I mean, I think he fires his son, right? I don't think his son comes back, but
right.
No, I don't think he steps. No, I don't think he steps away. I don't know, but he's his own man. I don't know.
It could make sense because you know it makes sense that maybe that's partially the reason why Eric Bieniemy hasn't got picked up because maybe he's waiting for that Chiefs head coaching job, you know, and
I mean
I don't know.
I can't speak on that, but that would be crazy.
Right.
But I don't think that Andy Reid would give up coaching just because his son's a fucking idiot. You know, I don't know.
Do you think Tom Brady comes back next year? He's gonna do another one?
Oh yeah. I look, man. Look. We so how much older is he than Breeze? A year, 2 years?
2 years.
He looks 4 years younger than Breeze. Like, yeah, he's coming back, dude. Yeah. Yep.
I mean, when you got a team like that, why not? You know, so because that team, I mean, that defense just was on it. Devin White, man, former LSU boy, he's got one of the best linebackers in the game right now, man.
If you know, I get such a hard on for running the football on offense. There's nothing that turns me on more than exceptional linebacker playing defense. Oh, dude, I was a linebacker. I love good
And he's not just the
play.
tackling linebacker. He
Dude.
plays the running game. He's a great coverage linebacker as well. He got an interception in the Super Bowl.
White was phenomenal, and just Levante David, I have so much respect for as well. Like that dude.
Antoine Winfield had him a game
for a rookie too. Yeah.
He was a big time draft pick, and he's one of the guys I really liked out of last year's draft. And obviously, his dad's a former Minnesota Viking cornerback, and he's actually, I would say, he's one of the best Vikings players that played for that organization. And he was Winfield, his dad, was a beloved cornerback up there. So it's in his genes, man, and I like him. I like his confidence. He almost reminds me of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, but in a way where
he's way better than John.
Yeah, I just say I think he's better.
No, I don't think I know he's better. He's better than Chauncey. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, you look at it. If Tampa is able to retain most of their team, I can't tell you who their free agents are, but I know.
Yeah, I don't have that in front of me either. Look, if they don't lose anyone of grand importance, if their team's not, if their team's not pillaged and a bunch of guys leave, I don't see why they wouldn't go back. Honestly,
Off the Gumbo. Honestly, that would be a dope name for a show. Like Off the Gumbo, but let's not take away from Off the Dome. I like Off the Dome. But
look, getting back to that game. So the
yes.
Chiefs had, the Chiefs were missing linemen, and that was a huge deal. And I just think we need to readjust the way we think about breaking down football games, like little shit like that. I mean, look, you win in the trenches, you likely you're going to win the game. Like if you win the line of scrimmage and if you have a special team score, basically you're going to win the fucking game. You know what I mean? Those are two huge things.
And this is what I said before the game started. You can stop Tom Brady, and it's simple. It's just you just got to do what it takes to do it. You got to bring pressure on him. You got to actually touch him. You got to hit him. Bring pressure on him, and you got to stop the run game. And they didn't do any of that.
There you go.
Tom Brady with zero pressure is pretty. He's gonna pick you up. He's gonna pick you apart.
Brady wasn't exceptional. He barely broke 200 yards. He wasn't.
Well, he's 21 for 29 though.
Exactly. He wasn't great. He was very good.
Fournette was awesome. Ronald Jones. Yeah.
Those running backs ran so hard.
I've been saying it all year. Their offense secretly gets set up by the run game. You shut down their run game and you put pressure on Tom Brady, you can beat that offense. That offense is really not that great. I mean, they're great when you don't put no pressure on them. So, I just think I'm just frustrated, man, because the Saints beat this team twice, and we're sitting here and they won the fucking Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
Here's why we should be frustrated, okay? Here's why we should be frustrated. If Drew Brees had retired, it's been reported by multiple solid sources, right, that Tom Brady was going to be a New Orleans Saint, okay? Now, I'm not saying that we had to simp for him and I'm not saying that I necessarily wanted him to be a Saint. I'm just saying that he could have been, and he would have brought Gronk with him probably, right? Antonio Brown was in that building for a tryout last year. Just saying that too. Cameron Brate was the Saint at one time. And Leonard Fournette was released for anyone to have. I'm pretty sure that he cleared waivers, and I'm pretty sure he could have been signed by anyone. So I'm just saying, like, all these guys that really played a key part for them, they were out there to have. I'm not necessarily saying that God damn it, why didn't the Saints pick them up? I'm just saying that we can't be we have to eat this. We as Saints fans have to fucking sit here and take our medicine. Okay, today. We have to sit here and take our medicine with this Buccaneers Super Bowl win, because these guys were there to be had, right? And the Buccaneers went and got them. So good on them. That's all I can say. Good on the Buccaneers for taking a chance and honestly having it work out wonderfully.
Right. Richard says Bucks defense went hard in the playoffs, especially the last 3 games.
They did.
The entire
They were
team,
great.
the entire team peaked at the right time.
And
you couldn't pick the better time to peak, you know?
And I think if I heard this correctly, Leonard Fournette is one of only 2 players to ever have 400 yards and 4 rushing touchdowns in the playoffs.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, he Leonard Fournette.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't know. Did he sign a 1-year deal with Tampa Bay? I don't know. If he's a free agent, if he is, he probably
he's a free agent.
A lot of money. He made himself a lot of money. He made himself a lot of money. Yep.
Oh, I think he goes back to Tampa. Why not?
On a bigger deal. He made himself a lot of money.
No, I think he goes to Tampa for less money. I think he does. I don't think he goes anywhere else. No, Leonard Fournette. He's about winning. He's from New Orleans. He's a St. Aug boy. He's all about winning. He's brought up in a winning culture. He was tired in his college days. LSU didn't provide him what he needed to do to win, and he goes to Jacksonville where they, were good for 1 year, and then after that they've been complete dog shit. And he wants to win, man.
Look, and maybe you're right. Maybe he will go back to Tampa on a team-friendly deal. But if running backs like Latavius Murray and Mark Ingram are getting like $4 to $5 million a year, you can't tell me Leonard Fournette's not going to get an offer for like 9 or 10. He's going to. Like that dude played him. We talk about playing yourself into a big payday. That's exactly what Leonard Fournette did in these playoffs.
Shit. If I was Fournette, I would screw the payday. I'm going back to Tampa. I'm gonna run with Ronald Jones, and I'm gonna keep myself fresh, and I'm gonna make myself look good because him and Ronald Jones is
that's a hell of a 1-2 punch.
And honestly, like if you have a 1-2 punch like that, you can keep around running backs longer than their expired date. They can when running back doesn't carry all the workload.
When one running back doesn't get 370 carries in a season like Deuce McAllister did, you can keep him around.
Yeah, exactly.
4 years.
Yeah. Right. And we'll see what happens. Tampa Bay is now the new kings of the NFC South with 2 Super Bowls. Saints just won. It's crazy how Tampa Bay and the Saints starting off in their franchises were historically bad. And they are atop of their divisions now as far as Super Bowls, which is crazy to think, So Tampa Bay and the Saints is one of the worst franchises in NFL history for a very long time. And now you're seeing success for them. And I'm glad to see that, actually. I hate it had been Tom Brady running that team.
I'm not thrilled, but it certainly doesn't.
I hate Tom Brady. I really hate Tom Brady. But if Tom Brady wasn't on that team, I wouldn't hate Tampa so much. I've really never really hated Tampa. They're the least team in the NFC South that I hated. I've always hated Atlanta first, and then Carolina. I don't really hate Carolina anymore because they don't have Cam Newton. I hated Cam Newton. He was cocky. He likes to go on the field a lot. So I'm just saying, guys. I don't know, man. We'll see what happens.
Speaking of cocky, though, you know what my favorite part of that game last night was?
Mm-hmm.
In the first matchup where Tyreek Hill went for what did he have, over 300 yards in the first time they played?
Yeah, the first game he was taunting Winfield.
And he gave him the peace sign. Winfield went right up to him and gave it right back. Fuck you, Tyreek.
Yeah,
fucking idiot.
I love that. Winfield's got some balls.
I love
it. And Parley Prince, he gave us a shout out on Twitter. I don't know if you've seen it. You'll probably see it after the show. He gave us a shout out. It was pretty cool. Appreciate all the love. Let's see. Sean Militello, miss you, bud. Who do you think resigns in Tampa? They don't have much cap space. So I know for sure JPP is a free agent. So
I will say this. I know I'm pretty sure Godwin is a free agent, and he's going to command a nice salary.
Right. I agree. I forgot about him. Mm-hmm.
There's teams like the Patriots that need a number 1 wide receiver. I can see them making a strong play for Chris Godwin.
I love Chris Godwin. He wasn't hurt. if he wasn't hurt throughout the year, I'm telling you, he would be a top 5 wide receiver this year. And honestly, I think he would
Well,
give people a run for his money to be the best. You
he was
know?
in fantasy 2 years ago. I can tell you that. I had him on my team.
Yeah, I have him in fantasy too. I think he's better than Mike Evans. I think Mike Evans is overrated. Mike Evans barely got over 1,000 yards.
Mike Evans is overrated. I will say that, and
He's
he
overrated.
certainly, and Lattimore certainly is his father. I will give you that. But it's hard to deny the numbers he puts up every year on a consistent basis, man. He's pretty fucking good.
He's good, but overrated.
Mike Evans is we can say this. Mike Evans is a top 10 receiver in the league. I say that.
He you know who he reminds me of, and this was his teammate in his first couple of years, Vincent Jackson. And I know Vincent Jackson, I don't know if you remember, he was a huge mentor for him.
They're both very large human beings, but Vincent Jackson was a different level of physicality. Like Mike Evans plays way softer than Vincent Jackson did. Vincent Jackson brought that physicality every game, week in and week out. Like that dude played at 6'5". You know what I mean? Mike Evans is like 6'5", but plays like he's 6'1". You know what I mean?
Did he play? He played for the Chargers first, right? Before he went to Tampa?
Chargers and then Buccaneers. Yeah, yep.
So he played with Drew, probably, huh?
I don't know. No, I don't think he's that old. I don't know.
Shout out to Isaac. He's a good friend from JEF. Harley Prince again off of Twitter. You guys feed off each other well. Very articulate, solid sport takes. You also pay attention to detail. Appreciate it, man. I appreciate all the love.
Chef Rob, appreciate you, man.
Right. No, Abe says, no, he is overrated.
No, Abe. No, listen, Mike Evans is overrated. But he can
says
be
he's just been hurt.
He can still Mike Evans can be overrated and still be a top 10 receiver though in the league. Like people view him as better than a top 10, as better like a top 5 receiver. I don't necessarily think he's that, but I would say it's hard to deny that Evans is a top 10 talent. It's
right,
dude. The production's there. I mean, what do you?
Oh
you know,
no,
maybe not against the Saints and Lattimore.
He meant isn't overrated.
Oh, he isn't overrated. Well, I mean, look, in my opinion, Mike Evans is a top 10 receiver in the league. So.
I think he's a fringe top 10 wide receiver, and that's fair. I think it really is. He's a physical wide receiver. He's a phenomenal red zone target. I think a lot of his touchdowns were in the red zone, and it was either him or Gronk in the end zone if they were going to pass it. And he's a huge red zone target. He's kind of like a more athletic Colston, you know. I don't think
that's a solid comp. He's 6'5" though, but against guys like Lattimore and other corners that aren't afraid to get up in his shit and press him at the line and get physical with him and kind of get in his head, because we've seen how he
gets soft. He gets soft.
Yeah, he gets soft. Like if you get up on him, he'll back down.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But yeah, if you let him bully you and he has the size to do so, then yeah, he can have a big day. But that's why Lattimore is so effective against him, and that he kind of disappears against the Saints, because Lattimore's not afraid Lattimore's about that action. He'll get up on you. You know what I mean? So
right. Well, he's a guy that likes to press man to man. He's your guy you want on an island. You know. So speaking of Lattimore, let's just go ahead and get into Saints talk. Buccaneers is your Super Bowl chance. It's a new season now. I'm ready to start it. Off season's about to be lit. Let's talk about some Saints and their off season.
Real quick. This is the most excited I've been for a Saints off season since 2006. It really is. Like I'm excited to see what the future holds. I would love if it was without Sean Payton too, but beggars can't be choosers. I'll take a new quarterback and I guess deal with the head coach still, but I am excited to see what we can do with probably Jameis Winston. But yeah, but as far as like positions of need and things I need to go after, things I think they need to go after in the offseason, my top 3 are linebacker. With Quan Alexander coming off an injury, do you bring him back? Is he going to be ready to start the season? Probably not. He got injured, he had that injury pretty late.
I believe he only counts for $2 million against the cap since he was injured. So you might as well bring him back. And it's kind of like what we did with Kiko.
But
we brought him back so cheap because he's injured.
Okay, bring him back. But is he going to be ready to start the season? Probably not with that injury.
I don't know.
So we certainly don't want to go the route of Alex Anzalone. Like, we're off of that project. He's terrible.
Oh yeah, he's a free agent. He can go. He can go.
He cannot come back. I've seen enough of Alex Anzalone. Like, he's not good. So look, I wanted Patrick Queen in the draft last year bad. I wanted him so bad. But I would love to see them go linebacker early in the draft. And I think after that, I think cornerback. I don't think they bring back PJ Williams. I'm not sure what Patrick Robinson's contract looks like. And then you have Janoris Jenkins has kind of a big cap hit too, I think. And we'll see what happens there. But I think
he'll probably get restructured. He's a candidate to get restructured.
And he's on the wrong side of 30 too. So, I think it's maybe time to invest in another young corner to pair with Lattimore. And then safety I have at third, but I will say this. If they can't retain Marcus Williams, that immediately becomes number one. Like, safety at three now, but if Williams leaves, that's my number one need for them in the offseason.
Yeah, I certainly agree with that. And my biggest needs what's up, Ryan? How's it going, Ryan?
And Abe, real quick, I see your question at the bottom. What are we hearing for quarterback? Man, it sounds like
it's Jameis Winston.
It sounds like Jameis Winston, man. Like, there's really no, like, gun to my head.
If it's not Jameis Winston, I seen and take this with zero grain of salt, however that saying goes. But I've seen where we might be in the mix for Mitchell Trubisky if Jameis doesn't come back. You know what I'm saying? Something stupid like that. But I think Jameis. I think it's safe to say I think Jameis is coming back for sure. I mean, I don't think he wants to go anywhere else. And honestly, after hearing him talk and listen to him in more interviews throughout his career, it almost sounds like he's always been a Saints fan. He's admired Drew Brees. Drew Brees is one of his favorite players ever. And he explained a story where he met Drew Brees when he was younger, and blah blah blah. He's kind of always been this guy. It sounds like. So I think he's going to be a guy we're going to bring back. Sean Payton obviously wants him, and I think he's going to embrace this team, and I'm excited to see where we can go with him. And you know what? If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. That's why I say the Saints should draft a quarterback in this year's draft in the first round, regardless. I don't care if Jameis Winston becomes a boom or a bust. We need to draft a quarterback in the first round, regardless. We either stay put and draft Mac Jones. I don't want Kyle Trask. If we can't get Mac Jones, I believe we're at 28, right?
28?
No, that's the thing. I think if he doesn't fall, we're going to have to trade up. I think we should trade up.
They won't do that.
It's going to be – I think he's going to go top 10.
They're not going to do it, but I think they should,
Yeah,
and I don't think they're going to draft a quarterback either.
The Saints will never trade up.
I saw a report that said –
Well, they did it for Davenport.
Mac Jones, it's a linebacker.
Huh? Well,
I saw a report that said if the Saints aren't going to draft Mac Jones, it's going to be a linebacker first round.
Well, you heard that from Balco. So I've seen that from Balco. But anyways, I think quarterback.
Take that with the grain.
I think quarterback. Yeah, I think quarterback's the number one needed position to focus on. Obviously, Jameis Winston should be your first priority, no matter how comfortable you feel about him staying in. And then I think the safety position. Are you going to retain Marcus Williams or not? Because if you don't retain Marcus Williams, you're going to have to find another guy. And I feel like you can find a guy in the draft. And then my third position I need is pass rusher. I think if we don't retain Trey Henderson, I think we're going to go through free agency. and to get that pass rusher. I even still think if we do bring right back Trey Henderson, I think we still need another pass rusher. So we'll see what happens. Davenport, I have a strong feeling he might be traded.
Who's gonna want him?
Who knows? Get PJ off my football team.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about PJ. You don't have to worry about PJ. He ain't coming back.
I can't remember last time PJ played in the game.
He ain't coming back.
You know what?
Damn, Mr. 30 for 30 himself.
We need to probably draft an offensive lineman.
His wife's
I know that might be kind of controversial, but I mean,
no, I think you're right, Ryan. Yeah.
You know, I was listening to 103.7 The Game, my boy Kevin Foote this morning, and you know they're talking about how we brag about this offensive line, but in actuality, our offensive line's overrated. Yeah, they can block pretty good for the run, but you know we've seen time and time again where they've struggled, blocking for Drew Brees. You know, you watched the game last night and how much of an impact a game can have by how much pressure you're putting on the quarterback. I mean, this was my point, of past 2 seasons with the playoff losses. Both of them had one thing in common. That was our offensive line got beat, so maybe adding a edge rush, an edge guy, kind of, the backup of your Armstead. I think Ramchek's going to be solid throughout his whole life, but to me, Armstead is can be inconsistent at times. Obviously, Andrew.
He's been healthy this year, though. It's been the first time he's been fully healthy. Yeah.
Yeah, but at times he can just be inconsistent. I think Ramchek's always consistent.
I love Ramchek. Yeah.
I think drafting a offensive lineman wouldn't be a bad idea either. I know that's kind of a trend. I know Saints. That's not the sexy thing, but the Saints have done it the past few years.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't put past Sean Payton and Mickey not to draft an offensive lineman in the first round. I think that's a huge possibility. You look at our interior offensive line, and it has not been good this year. Pete, obviously we want him out of here. And release, I don't know, man. He didn't look so good. We'll give him another shot. Maybe we need to think about putting him at center where he was more comfortable in college and maybe move McCoy over to guard. We'll see. I don't know. They got to play around with that,
That's what they talked about doing this season, and they never really did it.
Yeah, I don't understand that, actually.
What happened to that? I remember reading that like that was a possibility. They never really went that route.
They never, yeah.
And Eric McCoy's played guard in college. What'd you say, Ryan?
Something they didn't like with him at center, or they saw something in McCoy that they didn't like playing a guard. So
maybe they just felt like McCoy. Obviously the better player at the center position, and maybe it was more important for him to be there, I guess. So, because when you think about it, you wouldn't want to. If you would have moved McCoy to right guard, you would have Release and Pete. Those are your 2 biggest weaknesses on the offensive line, all coming in the same area. If you have McCoy in the middle, it kind of covers it just a tad, if that makes sense. I think that's ultimately why they did that. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know. I mean, not a football. But, yeah. I mean, so I think that's why they did that. Maybe, at least prove himself. Maybe he'll make some strides. So now he's going to have a whole offseason to work on it.
I'm willing to forgive. I'm willing to forgive the Ruiz performance, him being a rookie, but the Pete thing is just so.
And then Nick, dude. I want to get each one of y'all's thoughts on this because you brought up linebacker, Nick. Quan's not going to be back in time. We're not bringing back Anzalone. So
please no.
What's up with Zach Braun and Caden Ellis? What are we going to do here?
I don't. Look, Zach Bond.
And DeMario Davis is great, but he's getting older, man.
And he's my age, right? He doesn't have how much longer does DeMario Davis have?
Right.
But as far as Bond and Caden Ellis go, look, if they were worth a damn, I feel like they would have been out there. We didn't really see a lot of either of those guys.
See, but I would say the same thing about every single rookie. Ruiz kind of just had to be put in that role. Although I do think at times Hurst would have been a better option. But when you got Andrus Pete, getting
But it's
Easton's
not like
probably
each
gone, by
other's
the way.
role.
Easton's probably going to retire.
so. A rookie at a position where they're deep, yeah, it might not normally play, but it's not like they were like booming with talent at linebacker.
Well, I
Like,
mean,
they were so bad outside of DeMario Davis that they felt the need to trade for
Right.
Quan Alexander. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I just think like if those guys could even play a lick, they probably would have been out there, to be honest with you.
You're right.
And who knows? Look, Bond's the only rookie. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he'll show some flashes coming up here, but I wouldn't hold.
I'm just
breath.
glad we didn't draft him in the first round because there was talks of us drafting him in the first round. We got him in the third round, right? Was it the third round?
Right. Patrick Queen started day one. That's a first round talent guy. That's a difference maker.
Yeah, he was good.
That's a playmaker on the linebacker level. Like that's.
And
that's
I know we really liked. Right, and I know we really liked Kenneth Murray, but the Chargers traded in front of us to get Kenneth Murray. So, but you're right. Patrick Queen had himself a year, and it was mostly from the inside, and that's probably what you would be playing with DeMario Davis more in the inside, and DeMario Davis goes and covers a little bit while and so, man, what it could have been.
You're saying that. I mean, Zach Bond, the primary thing he did when he was at Wisconsin was he go back in coverage. I mean, that was his strong suit, was going back in coverage. He wasn't the pass rush linebacker that.
No, you're exactly right.
And but you look at it with the weird training camp, weird off season. These rookies really didn't have overly too much time to get acclimated. I think that was one big reason. Like, we were huge on Trotman, but I mean, we didn't see overly too much of Trotman. Also, Trotman has a bigger learning curve than anybody else because he's at the FCS level and not the FBS level. But I do think there's going to be big strides in Zach Bond's game. Adam Trotman, I think this team is fully prepared to move on from Jared Cook, and he's going to be the guy. So
I think Jared Cook's he's a free agent. He's gone, man.
Yeah.
And another thing to bring up.
I want to ask y'all this: what kind of contract were y'all wanting to give Jameis? Because I was thinking maybe something. If we could get him on a friendly deal, we could do like 3 years, $33 million. I think that'd be a really good deal.
It'll be what Teddy got last year.
Be way more than that.
Teddy got 11.
Jameis Winston.
No, Teddy got 20 plus.
Teddy got like 20 million. Yeah, what are you talking about?
He's
Bridgewater got like $20+ million a year. Jameis Winston ain't getting less than a $15 million a year contract. No way.
He's gonna get more than 20.
Play 12 snaps.
But it doesn't matter. It's what the market. It's what the market dictates. Starting quarterbacks get paid. Like he's
the number one quarterback in free agency right now.
Trust me, Jameis Winston will be making at least $15 million or more this coming season.
For sure.
See, but the only teams that I heard that really were wanting him would be the Bears, and the Bears are trying to pull off a deal to get Carson Wentz.
Oh, I've heard outside of the Saints.
Well, so is the Colts. The Colts are trying to pull off. Yeah.
Yep.
Because they know they're probably not going to be able to get Winston because Winston really likes the Saints. He's going to go back to the Saints unless we fuck up something where it pisses them off.
I think Winston also wants to have that.
The only way Winston's making less than $15 million is if he himself decides to do a team-friendly deal and do a disservice to himself. That's the only way.
What's going to happen is his salary. His salary is going to be pretty less. Like it's probably going to be really low starting off, and then the back end of his contract's going to be pretty big.
Well, that's what the Saints have to do because.
Well, they have their ways of doing right, but I'm just saying as far as like a per year basis, breaking it down. But.
Yeah, and I think the Saints are in a position where I don't even know what to say because I don't even know what to think because this is a year we're not going in with Drew Brees anymore. It's been what since 2006. This is so different, man. This is different.
Very exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting. I don't know what to think.
That's what I said at the beginning of this segment, Ryan. I'm very. This is the most excited I've been since 2006. I'm ready, man. I'm ready to see what the future holds. Like
I was pretty excited in 11 and 13, but yeah, I mean, the uncertainty of where the franchise is going is very exciting for some.
It is. I agree.
And I think it's just because we haven't been in this position in so long. I mean, the last time we were in this position was, the team didn't have a home.
Yeah, what a wild year that was.
We're going into a completely different direction, and it's kind of awesome to see.
It's definitely going to be different.
Although
that's for sure.
I need a little bit more production on Mike Thomas.
Do y'all think we cut Latavius Murray? I've been seeing that a lot, and I don't want to cut him at all.
I don't know what's the cap hit if they do.
I would have to look it up.
I don't have that in front of me, but
can we get Mark Ingram on the vet minimum?
Yeah.
Well, that's what it was talked about doing.
That's the only way I consider that.
I think that's a downgrade.
Yeah, at this point in Mark Ingram's career, it definitely is a downgrade.
Yeah, I think you keep Latavius Murray because Latavius Murray has proved that when Kamara went down, he could take over the load.
Dude, I would love to have Latavius Murray back. I don't know what his cap hit is though.
I thought
he has an out. We can cut him right now, and it'll only be a 1.7 in dead cap, 1.7 million in dead cap. So we don't owe him anything anymore. I believe his total guarantee was $7.2 million. I'm pretty sure we paid most of that. So we can move on from him, but I think it makes no sense. The only reason why I would move on from him is if we draft a fresh running back in the draft. You never know.
I don't think they're dumb enough to do that anymore. I don't.
What? Do we have a second round pick? Or we traded that?
If we do now, we might not in a couple days.
You're right.
We might not coming up here soon. Just keep that in mind. We might not have a first round pick coming up soon with fucking Sean Payton's bullshit annex. But look, the Buccaneers proved. The Buccaneers just proved yesterday what a powerful 1-2 punch at running back can do for you with Fournette and Ronald Jones. Look, I would do whatever it takes to hang on to Latavius Murray. And
is Sean Payton going to even use him though?
Well,
or is he going to use any other running back besides Kamara?
That's a whole nother situation. That's a whole nother conversation though. Whether they're going to use him correctly is
like, do we even care? Like, do we even care? Because Sean Payton's not going to use him.
They're paying Kamara $15 million and not using him enough. So you're right.
See if we resign Jameis, Sean Payton go back to that offense of 2011.
Of just airing it out like that,
just going full on.
We don't have the kind of receivers. They don't have the kind of receivers that they did in 2011, though. When you're talking about still having Henderson and Meacham and Lance Moore and just so deep. They're at least they were 4 deep at wide receiver.
What's sad? We talk about them like they're good receivers, but in all actuality, they were trash.
They were way better. They're way better than what we have now. They're way better than what the Saints have now.
Who are we talking about?
Just supporting cast guys like outside of Colston, like Henderson and Meacham and Lance Moore.
I would kill for Lance Moore. I would kill for Lance Moore in the freaking slot.
The kind of speed that Henderson and Meacham had? Oh, God.
When's the last time we had a slot receiver like Lance Moore? When's the last time we had a slot wide receiver?
That's what I mean. That's a legitimate 4 deep wide receiver group. The Saints don't have that now. The Saints don't have anywhere near that now.
Well, I honestly think you're going to have to draft a wide receiver. If you don't get your quarterback in the first, if you don't get the linebacker you want, you might want to draft wide receiver. Terrace Marshall, man, I'm telling y'all, that dude's a baller. But
I
you know,
don't mind seeing him in the black and gold, as long as he
well,
doesn't turn into a locker room cancer.
well, he's not a locker room cancer at all. He's a good player. He's a good team
I mean,
player.
we already got 2 locker room cancers in our locker room. We need to kind of
Who is that?
C.J. Gardner Johnson and Michael Thomas.
Michael Thomas is not a cancer. I don't get that.
A cancer.
C.J. Gardner Johnson's not a cancer.
A cancer is a strong term to use. I would
Yeah.
say that the entire fucking locker room is in need of a makeover and a wake-up call in terms of how they
Well, I'll
conduct
tell you what.
themselves in their free time and on social media.
I tell you
I
what.
don't think that they're a cancer, but I think that the whole
Ingram might have not been not as talented as Murray, as production wise, but ever since we lost him,
locker room guy.
Yeah, ever since we lost him, that there's part of the leadership that was gone, and it kind of did affect us. Honestly,
Agreed.
It did.
Agreed.
Like, he was a big part of that locker room. He really was.
I would say he was one of the older guys.
Right. He was drafted by the Saints, and he's a Saints guy. He wanted to come back, and the two sides couldn't agree, and we pulled the trigger on Murray before, all the other running back market was gone. But it just sucks because when we lost him, and that's another guy like that got Alvin Kamara going. He played a big part in Kamara's rookie year. Same thing with Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson only lasted a week or 2 with us, but he played a big part in Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara is playing with Peterson and Ingram, so them 2 guys battling out, trying to get more rushing opportunities. And Kamara, I think that feed Kamara to what he is now. And ever since Ingram has been gone, I don't know. I think we've been missing that, missing his leadership.
For everyone who bought Adrian Peterson jerseys.
I believe I saw some on sale about a year ago, and I got Academy.
They sold them. I have no clue why. They sold Adrian Peterson Saints jerseys for his 2 weeks there.
Well, let's go ahead and head on over to the Pelicans. Talk about their recent success. They're looking like a playoff team.
3 in a row.
That's what I kind of want to ask y'all. Are y'all finally seeing a playoff team in these New Orleans Pelicans?
Okay, so I'll start.
You want to go first or Ryan?
I'll start.
Go ahead.
So, as long as Stan Van Gundy and Derek Griffin can stop pushing this damn agenda that they want to push and do what's required to win, then yes, this team is a playoff team. I believe
that's a term I use. I like that. Required to win.
But yeah, I got it from you. But what is required to win is send Jackson Hayes to the damn G League bubble.
Yeah.
I know we don't exactly have the room to, but let Willie Herman Gomez play. I mean,
Guillermo,
he's finally
let Kyra play.
Yeah.
But I was going to get to that too. But Willie is playing good basketball. He's doing what we need him to do. If we can get a solid 10, 12 minutes out of him every game, just get Steven Adams a breather, that's huge.
Reach.
He can do stuff that Jackson Hayes cannot. He can be a man like Jackson Hayes.
What can Jackson Hayes do? Seriously.
Foul. He can foul well.
But
he can look like he's good with a dunk. That's what he can do.
Yeah, he'll have a windmill dunk once every 3 or 4 games. Yeah, whoop-de-doo.
But I saw this insane stat that was it was comparing Lonzo's good games versus Lonzo bad games. Lonzo good games,
they win. Period.
Win easily.
Period.
Right. When he has a bad game,
it kind of is that simple.
Badly.
Really. Yeah.
But so Lonzo Ball is a huge part of this team, whether or not we want to admit it or not. But also, I think it's Stan Van Gundy.
Well, he kind of has to. Who's that third guy?
Needs to realize when Lonzo's having a bad game to not hit
Bench his
self-destruct
ass.
to bench him. Put in Kyra. You know,
Do what you
I
did
really
to
like the effort.
Nikhil. You benched Nikhil and played Kyra.
I really like the effort out of Kyra. And I think every single Pelicans fan, it could
The energy, you can just see it, man.
Yeah.
Like
He showed some promise. He sure did. Mm-hmm.
But you know, I think everybody fell in love with Nikhil after he scored 37 against the Clippers. But
huge out.
He's another guy that's streaky. He's a confidence guy. He's low on confidence right now. We benched his ass.
In actuality, he's a volume shooter. But the defense has been better. The effort has been better. Zion actually, on the defensive end, has been a lot better.
Agreed.
That's another thing. Zion and BI defensively have been much better over the past week or so. And honestly, the team is feeding off of that. They really are. And Stan Gundy has been working hard with them too, specifically. Like, hey, guys, like, you are the guys of this team. We need you to bring it every night. You need to set an example. Set the example. If you set the example, the other guys will follow, and they will buy in. And it's working, and it's part of the reason why Lonzo is playing so well.
When your two best players are doing the little things that are required to win, especially on the defensive end,
exactly,
it is contagious, and it does set a tone. Now, as far as do I think this team is a playoff team?
We're not there yet.
They're certainly playing like it, but man, the Grizzlies are a competitive team. You got a team
let me look up the standings.
You got a team like the Kings. The Kings are playing well. The Kings are playing a lot better now.
Darren Fox.
Do I think that they can get into an expanded play-in scenario? Yeah, I certainly do. If they're going to play like this, then definitely, yeah. Like they can finish at the top 9 or 10 seed in the West, and then play for that 8th spot, or however they're going to have it set up at the end.
We're 1.5 games behind the 8th spot.
Yeah, so
I want to ask y'all this,
and real quick, Ryan, so they're 1.5 games up, and they have
only 2 games behind the 6th seed, actually.
Okay, so and they have some. The schedule really eases up here. They have some winnable games coming up. Like they struggled in the beginning of the season, but that at least for myself, I did look at the first 10 games of the year, and I was like, ooh, that's kind of a tough schedule. But now it really softens up a little bit. So.
Well, yeah, and when you go to a different style of scheme from Gentry to Stamp and Gundy, and these guys are used to playing in a faster pace, and they're not used to being more organized, being in a set defense, being in a set offense. It takes some time to get used to, and when you have a short off season like you did, that didn't help either. And I know, that's an excuse because everybody else is going through the same thing, but it's still a problem. So
about that.
I think they're starting to catch on. I'm starting to think Lonzo is a better off-ball player than he is on-ball. I think people think he's a pass-first point guard like a Jason Kidd. No, sir. That man looks like Chris Middleton. He's a Chris Middleton right now. That's what he is.
You showed me that argument that you got into. I can't believe they compared him to those point guards that they did. Like what?
Jason Kidd?
Lonzo Ball play?
No, they don't. They look at stats. They brought up that he had an 81% percentile in the pick and roll as a ball handler, but he only runs pick and roll 20% of his touches.
Yep.
That's a small sample size.
Okay, so I first off, I have a rant. I do not agree. This is the thing that's still killing me about the offense. Zion is 60% this year from the field. 60.
Isn't amazing? That's
fucking
amazing.
percent.
It's amazing.
But why is he not getting at least 15 shots a game?
Yeah, no,
I'm seeing Brandon Ingram go becoming a pure on volume shooter, shooting at least 20 a game, maybe only making 8, 9. But Zion out here going 10 for 14 every game. It's like, why isn't the ball in his hands more? Why in late in games? Now, okay, I will admit Eric Bledsoe won us a game the other night against Memphis. But why
he's been better? He's been better the last couple of games too. Yeah. He's been very good the last couple of games.
I actually want to bring this
Zion
up.
Get the ball late in games.
Ryan, I agree. 13, 14, even 15 shots is
that's not
way too few for Zion.
He's a once in a lifetime talent. He should get 18, at least 18 a game. If he goes 14 for 18, 13 for 18, that's at least 26 points.
They're winning.
Here's the interesting, I guess it's kind of a stat that I've heard on a podcast. I think it's called The Bird Writes or the Bird Calls. You know what I'm talking about?
The Bird
That's
Writes.
the one by Noah.com, yeah.
Yeah, all the major Pelicans beat writers and all that stuff. But they brought up an interesting stat. Lonzo, Bledsoe, B.I., Zion, Adams, their net rating has been the highest of any starting lineup that we have ever had.
I think they all mesh really good. I will say that.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
I think they
better than what we had when DeMarcus Cousins was with Anthony Davis right before DeMarcus Cousins got hurt. It was better than when we had Rondo and Mirotic starting in the playoffs.
Huh. Wow, that's a stat.
Efficiency too.
You want to know what's crazy? So, literally a week and a half ago, we're talking about the Pelicans trading every single veteran. And now you're in a position, you won 4 out of 5. If you win tomorrow, they're out Christian Wood and Victor Oladipo tomorrow. So,
okay.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up, Ryan, because I was about to get to Lonzo.
Because, now we're not exactly in that position to actually be sellers. You kind of are in the position of maybe, staying content or maybe trying to lure. But the bad thing is the Eastern Conference is so wide open. That's because there's only 6 winning teams that it really makes it hard to be buyers, because there's really you can't take anybody from the East because there's only really 2 bad teams, and it's the same thing in the West.
Well, the Lonzo trade rumors they haven't stopped. Actually, they keep heating up, and obviously that's based off his last 9 games where he's been absolutely balling out. And I was about to get to this because we were going to talk about Lonzo now, and I was going to ask y'all his performance in the past 9 games. Do you think this is fool's gold? Like, should we sell him high when we can, or do we keep him? And if we do keep him for the rest of the season, maybe we need to think about doing a sign and trade in the offseason, sell him high. Because if he keeps doing this for the rest of the year, and honestly, I think we should keep him on for the rest of the year. If he does this for the rest of the year, if he makes an All NBA defense, the second one or the first one,
I don't think.
I'm telling you, we could go out and get you a Bradley Beal or a Zach LaVine. I'm telling you. And there's been trade talks. With the Bulls.
Can't. Sean, when you brought this question up earlier,
we held Devin Booker to 11 points the other night.
Yes, I understand. When you brought
he's not going to
make
this point. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, when you brought this point up earlier, is he fake or real or whatever the heck? My first thought was it's still to be determined, because we saw this stretch last year. We saw this stretch last year from Lonzo where he played pretty much lights out, played the best ball he's ever played in his life.
Right before the bubble.
Yep. We got to the bubble, and Lonzo Ball was better off at his own house than in the bubble.
Right.
So,
he was awful.
It's still to be determined, because it's just like in the kill where you're streaky, or is it, where you're sitting here?
Well, that's why I think we hold on to him. I don't think we trade him because I think trade talks are heating up. I think we are getting better offers than what we were getting a week ago or so. Ever since we put out the rumors, so he can light a fire under his ass. But anyways, like I honestly do think like we should keep him. And like you just said, Ryan, history proves that he's going to continue this for the rest of the season. It's just we need to watch what he does when we get into prime time basketball, deeper to where games start to matter. I mean, all games matter, but when they start to matter the most, deep, later in the regular season, and then obviously if we get into the play-in tournament, and if we even get to the playoffs. I want to see how he produces there too. But
and like another thing I think is going to be interesting is, with the little pause and the break in the season, how the NBA did their stupid scheduling. I don't know why they didn't just make it 72 games straight. But will he, if he has the momentum, will he continue that momentum? Because we saw last year he had the momentum and did not continue that momentum. Which it's extraordinary circumstances, but at the same time,
how's he gonna play when he's under pressure?
Yeah,
where he has to produce.
Yeah, he has to be better than his brother.
Well, who made 7 threes tonight? He was on. Yeah, he's not better than his brother.
Well, I don't think he should be in a Pelicans uniform next year. And I'm saying that because I don't think he's good enough to be that third star. And he has potential to be that third star, but I don't think he's what we need to be that third star. I think
when they drafted Kyra, I think that was the point that the Pelicans tried to make was, okay, we are.
You turned down the extension we offered you.
Lonzo Ball.
Look, I'll say this. Do I think that this stretch is fool's gold? I would say don't get your hopes up. I think he's worth retaining if all you can get is like a second round pick. But if trade talks are ramping up and more teams show interest, and then you kind of maybe have a player or two that you can slot into your rotation and upgrade the entire team, maybe not his spot exactly, then you just move Kyra into a starting spot. But if you can get like two solid rotation guys or a solid rotation guy, I just don't want some useless second round pick. You know what I mean? I at that point, I think it's worth hanging on to him and riding it out and seeing what he does the rest of the season.
Are you talking about Lonzo?
Yeah.
I don't think you realize Lonzo's driving like he has. We're not going to get a lame ass offer for him right now. If we do,
then go.
He's high right now. He's high. Like
if they get a solid offer for him, pull the trigger. But what I'm saying is, if all it is like some lame, I just don't.
It's JJ that we're probably not going to get anything for.
Sure. Yeah. So if you can get more than just some lame second round draft pick, if you can get a legitimate offer for Lonzo, then pull the trigger. But if not, yeah, he's probably worth hanging on to at this point. He is playing that well right now to where I would just ride it out and see how he finishes the season out.
Because he is going to get 18 to 20 million a year next year, no matter what, in my opinion.
Hard to believe, man.
Markar Fultz got that money.
Well, yeah.
Think about it. But Fultz has been playing better basketball.
I think he tries for Orlando. But I still say the answer to fool's gold or real is to be determined, because we've seen him have these stretches before where he plays good.
Cautiously optimistic, I would say.
I think Lonzo is that fantasy football player. He's that fantasy football player that you start and he'll be either boom or bust for you, and you just don't know if you want to start him or not.
It's like a tight end.
I will say this. I do have to like kind of fact check myself. I kind of went off, a couple episodes ago. And I said, what does Lonzo even do league average? And I said nothing. No, his spot up shooting is elite at this point. Like if he's open and his feet are set,
when he's on it, man. But the thing is, he's streaky, and he doesn't pose any threat besides his spot up shooting. His mid range has gotten better, but the thing is, he still doesn't attack the lane, doesn't attack the basket. Right. And people laugh on me on Twitter, but it's true.
That's true. No,
there's a reason why he doesn't play on ball anymore.
That's why we're so enamored with Kyra Lewis, even when he misses layups, because at least he's going to the fucking basket. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
The thing about Kyra Lewis that makes him so much different than Lonzo Ball is you're always going to see that Kyra Lewis plays with heart. You do not always see that.
You don't always see
Lonzo Ball.
Exactly.
Sometimes
he's not bought in.
Be somewhere else.
It looks like he's sleepwalking sometimes. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, exactly. That's because the league's not doing marijuana testing this year, but shit, man, get a grip.
I'm still convinced Brandon Ingram's high as fuck every game. I swear to God.
I think it was like that even when they were testing.
Man. that dude, he just looks high as fuck every game.
He kind of looks like Post Malone in this picture. Am I right?
Yeah, like a skinny guy. Yeah, all right.
But, you know, I do think I would like the Pelicans to add another shooter. I would like the Pelicans to ship Melly off to whatever country he's from, Italy, wherever he's from.
Italian style.
Deport him now.
God, I mean, shoot, man, it's just we need production out of him. Just some type of production.
You're not getting it. Well, hate to break it to you, but you ain't getting it.
I think it was Pelicans Debrief tweeted out that Melly's up there running suicides and somehow gets a turnover.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to have better. We got to have better bigs. If you're going to trade, you need big men. You can't just run with Willie Herman Gomez and Melly. You got to have.
I would kill to have Nikolai Mirotic again.
God,
like he would make so much difference in this offense, especially coming off the bench. Like he would be a sixth man of the year candidate.
A legit 15 a game off the bench. Yeah.
He was so good the year we made the playoffs.
He was a sniper, dude. He was a legit sniper.
Yeah. We were actually better with him in the starting lineup and starting AD at the 5 than when DeMarcus Cousins was in the starting lineup. It was more efficient.
The Pels looked a lot better when DeMarcus Cousins went down. What was it? We went on like an 8-game win streak after Boogie went down?
Yeah, we lost a couple games right after he went down, and then we went on some winning streaks. I believe is when we traded for Mirotic. So we really hit it hard. And when we traded for Mirotic, we started to push up the pace. I think with Cousins, we had a lot more slower pace where, Cousins was handling the ball from the perimeter at times. He looked like a point guard for some reason. He averaged, 6 or 7 turnovers a game?
I was going to say, that guy's a turnover machine.
People say, he was a monster. Man, I mean, come on.
If you look at just like raw box score numbers, yeah, DeMarcus, like fantasy numbers, DeMarcus Cousins was elite.
People need to stop looking at stats and actually watch the game.
But that dude was begging to give the ball away.
That one's for you, Lonzo fans. Lonzo fans, stop watching his highlights. Actually watch the entire game.
Watch the whole game. Yep.
Sean, just say top 5 Pels podcast. But no,
it's not even him. Samuel, he's a huge Lonzo fan.
That's crazy.
I guarantee you, I could just tweet out his first name, Lonzo, and I'll get about 4 or 5 Lonzo fans.
You'll get attacked.
Lonzo Ball has the best.
Why'd you tweet it out, Lonzo?
In the world.
The term stan was created for Lonzo Ball's fans. Like, that dude has the most devoted following of guys. Like, It's unreal.
It's a shame.
It's unreal.
It's a shame, actually.
Yeah.
He has like better fans than Brian Scalabrine had. I mean,
Man, I will give them and I will give his fans an A for effort because they ride with that dude no matter what. No matter what. It's impressive.
For sure.
it's
Well,
terrible.
the Pelicans play against the Rockets tomorrow.
So no Oladipo and Wood, huh?
Yeah.
I guess not.
Wow. Oh, I
So,
like that.
so like,
Should be a win,
it's like
right?
kind of a back-to-back too for the Rockets.
Okay.
So I saw that they're gonna have Wall and Gordon, but no Oladipo.
I hate
no
Eric Gordon.
Yeah.
Hate him so much. I don't know why we matched that offer for him to stay with us. We should have let him go to the Suns.
Is he the most hated Pelican? Okay, after AD,
Yes.
he's the most hated Pelican.
Him. Yeah. Yes. The answer is
Let
yes.
me think about that, actually.
No, I don't need
Amir
Sheik.
Amir Sheik is my most hated player.
Amir Ashik. Yeah.
Okay, can we talk about how great of a deal though it was when we traded Sheik away? Now, Dems finessed that deal because we got Mirotic and we sent a first and Omer Sheik who never fucking played.
They sent him back to the Bulls.
Back to the Bulls.
He came from the Bulls, sent him back to the Bulls, and got.
No, he came from the Rockets.
Oh, did he?
He came from the Rockets.
Oh, damn.
I hated Solomon Hill.
Fair enough.
Obviously.
Ooh. Damn it. You know what? It's Solomon Hill.
Yeah.
It's Solomon Hill. You're right. It is.
He looked like a homeless guy on the court.
He does look homeless. He looks. Look, Solomon Hill looks like he lives. Solomon Hill looks like he lives under a bridge. Absolutely.
He lives under the Claiborne flyover in New Orleans.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to think of somebody else.
No, you're right. No, it's Solomon Hill because at least Eric Gordon could get you, got you like 16, 17 a game. Solomon Hill, dude.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Let me ask you this: who's y'all's favorite players? But you really liked them, but they sucked. Kind of like Brian Scalabrine type of deal.
Just for the Pelicans in general, or
yeah, give me Luke Babbitt. Luke Babbitt.
Luke Babbitt was so bad. Oh my God.
The hair, bro. Oh he was trying. He used to try to slash down the lane, bro.
That hair was awful. Oh my God.
I really wish the Pels would have kept Jimmer Fredette.
I used to kill people on 2K with Luke Babbitt.
I thought you meant of all time. I was like, it's easy. Steve Novak.
No, it's Pelicans.
What describe not good though? Like what's the Mason Dixon line here?
I'm trying to separate that time when the Pels went in with 8 players against the Warriors. I'm trying to think who else played that game.
Like I would say,
I'll say this. You guys might not remember him, but if we're talking about Hornets and if we're just talking about New Orleans basketball, if we're including the Hornets in that too, I would say Carl Landry.
Carl Landry. He didn't suck though.
Landry.
Willie Green.
But I think he's above that line of like good or
we
bad.
traded Marcus Thornton for Carl Landry. Marcus Thornton was one of my favorite players.
Yeah, but how long did he last though? Marcus, he didn't. No, I mean,
he was awesome. He was awesome his first year with the Kings. He was awesome.
But how long did he last in the league is my point. Carl Landry was at least like a 10-year vet.
Hey, can we talk about how terrible the deal was when Dell Demps traded away Darren Collison?
Now there you go.
Hey,
here's another good one.
Trade the 6th man.
Brian Roberts.
Man, you're talking a name I'm trying to remember.
Tim Frazier.
Oh God.
G League superstar over here.
Man.
Alonzo G. Dante Cunningham.
Don't even go Dante.
Aaron Gray.
Man,
remember Aaron Gray?
Jason
Smith. The white big tall boy.
Jason
Smith was kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, Jason Smith, he's a little sniper, dude. He had a shot. He had a jumper.
He beat up Blake Griffin. He tackled his ass.
He had a jumper. Yeah, but I would say, Carl Landry, though, was probably too good to be.
Most
Yeah, he's too
overrated
good.
Pelican of all
He was a
time.
starter. Most overrated?
I have to go
Tyreek.
with okay, yeah, Tyreek.
Tyreek Evans.
Most overrated Pelican.
Tyreek Evans.
Or Hornet. Yeah, was Tyreek thought of highly outside of New Orleans, though? I don't know that he was.
What?
I mean,
wow, Dorothy going. She's pulling that out.
Donatas Montejunas? Oh,
that dude was actually kind of good.
That's Dorothy. That might be the most obscure one. Donatas Montejunas. Wow. Way to throw
you deserve some brownie points for that one, Dorothy.
Donatas Montejunas. Who the hell would think of that name? Wow. Well done.
That man could shoot threes. He was before his time.
What
a big man that can shoot threes.
What the hell happened to him, though?
Remember he also played for the Rockets. He was like a Greek player. It was like Costa Papalu or something like that. He was kind of cool too. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Well, if you know what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure Montejunas played for the Rockets.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He started for the Rockets, and then somehow the Pelicans ended up.
But what the hell happened to him what the hell happened to him with New Orleans? What?
I know a guy I hate. Jahlil Okafor. I never hate a guy more than Jahlil Okafor. I hated that motherfucker.
Jahlil Okafor got me banned from Facebook groups.
Terrence
what is
Hill.
he doing nowadays? Is he in Detroit? Is that where he went?
Yes.
Yeah, Detroit.
He still sucks.
Who is Terrence Hill?
Is she thinking of Solomon Hill?
Maybe.
I don't know why I thought Tyreek Hill at first.
Dorothy, who's Terrence Hill?
Is this the original Pelicans? Is this the original Hornets team? We're all too old.
Oh, Terrence Jones! Terrence Jones!
Yeah, shoot, man.
Dude,
he had like
remember when AD was out and he balled out against who did he balled out against? When it LeBron Heat? When LeBron was with the Heat and he balled out when AD was out or something like that? It was the year we made the playoffs with Monty, I believe. No, that's wrong.
Can we throw Kendrick Perkins into the most hated list?
Oh my god, yeah.
How critical he is as Zion.
Man, you know what? We're gonna have to have this segment again when I have time to go through the rosters and really write. We're gonna have our selections for each category because I want to do this, but I can't think of all these names right now. We're going down.
We should do top 5 overrated, top 5 underrated.
I love that. Hornets and Pelicans. I would.
Okay, top 5 overrated, top 5 underrated.
Podcast. We'll come back with that. Don't talk about the top 5 Pelican pod. Don't talk about that, please.
we're shooting for top 5, not
Jesus
top 1.
Yeah. Here we're not number 1. We're solid being number 5. So weird.
Anyways,
what a weird dude.
That just about does it here on Off the Dome Sports. Would y'all like to bring anything else up before we go ahead and head on out of here?
Yeah, just real quick. I'm excited about. Like I said, Ryan, you kind of the way you put it. You said the unsureness, right? The not knowing what lies ahead. It's exciting, and that's why this is the most excited I've been for an offseason since 2006 when they signed Breeze and drafted Reggie and got Sean Payton back before he was a fucking dickhead. And I'm excited to see where the Saints go from here if they can make it work with a quarterback other than Drew Brees for the first time. And just to reiterate on Lonzo, if they get a good package, then I think it's worth still moving him. I wouldn't necessarily hold on to this 3-game stretch as like some beholden thing where we can't move him all of a sudden. But if nothing tickles their fancy, then he's probably worth hanging on to and riding out the year for. So just to kind of recap what we talked about.
Yeah. And Really excited about the Pelicans. I'm honestly very optimistic about the Pelicans right now. I think they're playing great basketball.
I was up off my
they're playing-
couch, fist pumping the air, dude. I've been fired
Yeah.
up these past couple of
But
days.
also, I wanted to make a point. You know, Sean talked a couple weeks ago about how this is going to be college football related, but Sean talked a couple weeks ago about how you go to LSU if you want to go to the NFL. The offensive coordinator from the University of Louisiana just got a position as the offensive line coach of the New York Giants, making big moves for the Sun Belt.
Okay.
So
What? Say that
I
again.
just wanted to give Rob Sell a shout out.
Say that again.
Rob Sell. He's now the offensive line coach
Who's that?
of the New York Giants. Rob Sell. That was the offensive coordinator for UL.
Oh,
And he
went to go be an O-line coach.
Yeah, he just accepted a position to be the O-line coach at for the Giants.
Oh, I mean, I would have stayed in college, honestly. I don't know. I would have tried to be an offensive coordinator at a bigger school at least. I don't know. I would have moved, but some coaches like the NFL better. So honestly, it's probably obviously more high paying job to be the O-line coach than it is to be the offensive coordinator at UL. So I mean, obviously it's an upgrade, but I don't know, man. I don't know. In my personal opinion, if it was me, I probably would have just stayed in college and try to upgrade at a bigger school at the offensive coordinator spot.
Hey, also, real quick before I forget, what's the deal with Nielsen? Is he getting that spot or no? Is that a no right now?
What are you talking about?
He got interviewed for a defensive coordinator.
Packers to hire Joe Barry from Rams.
Oh, okay. So they went over. Okay, all good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good.
We got a good little coaching staff. You know, Chris Richard was an awesome hire, man. Awesome
That's a good hire. That's a really good hire.
He could be your next defensive coordinator if Dennis Allen goes to a different place. So a lot of people forget Dennis Allen's contract ends after this year. So we'll see what happens with him. He might take a head coaching job. I don't know. Who knows? Todd Bowles deserves a lot of credit for this Buccaneers defense. And I don't understand why he hasn't been interviewed as a head coach. I believe I was told he was, but it was more just for Rooney rules more than anything. But he deserves to be a head coach again. He was fired for Adam Gase. Keep that in mind. So,
some guys don't have the
he might be a better coordinator than he is a head coach.
Some guys don't have the fire and vocal leadership that's required to be in that position.
But he deserves a second chance. What was I trying to say?
That's right. Because I mean, you're basically set up for.
He has to be in the right situation.
You're right, and the Jets are not that. So he probably deserves a second chance. Yeah.
Right. Anyways, that's gonna do it here for Off the Dome Sports. Check us out next time. I'm sure we'll go live later this week, because we are getting deeper into the off season for football, and obviously the Pelicans is still going on.
Anyways, next episode, we'll be back with our top 5 for different categories of the Pelicans and Hornets. I want to do that. That's.
We also need to start talking about some draft prospects, Nick. We need to start doing some research on that.
Sure.
If you want to join in, Ryan, you got to do some research too. So anyways, check us out next time.